Good afternoon to everybody. I'm Jerome Couturier, professor of business strategy here at ESCP. I teach in London. As you can hear, I'm French as well. I teach in France from time to time. I've got to say that today I feel very much humble and modest after hearing all these fantastic presentations about big data. I'm not an expert, I have to say, about big data. I'm more a business-oriented person. Actually, a few facts. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Twitter. I even have a BlackBerry. So I guess I'm not even a data guy. However, having said that, I do quite a bit of advising to companies. So I do that through consultancy, and I want to tell you here one or two simple stories, specific projects that we do with two companies, a big, large multinational American company, and then a smaller SME, I would say. I'm talking to Mary about this conference. I actually realized that we're dealing with big data, or actually we're dealing with data, but we didn't really start from the data side. We started more from a business point of view. It's all about decision making and how to get things done, which, as you can imagine, is quite important in business. So talking to managers, talking to a few CEOs, they come with this question of, well, I need the right information to make the right decision at the right time. And then they've got questions like, well, I'd like to understand more about clients. Who are the good performing ones? Where do I make my margins? And ideally, if I could know which of my clients at an individual level achieve the highest margins, what their profile, and so on, would be fantastic. I mean, nothing special. These are just natural questions like every manager might have. Things about my commercial policy, my discounts, what's the return on that, what's the impact, performance of products in specific regions, and so on. And no later, actually, that yesterday, I was talking to the head of Europe of a large American pharmaceutical company, and he was telling me it's kind of weird. I set up to my top guys, basically the country MDs. Sorry, is it better? Yes. Yeah. Okay. The country MDs, I set up a number of targets for the year, business targets. And the point is, I've got quarterly targets, but until the end of the quarter, I'm not sure about where they stand vis-à-vis these targets. So I need to wait for another 2 months to really understand who is performing well, and so on. But if I had the daily, somehow the daily performance, whatever it means, would be fantastic, because I could steer the business much better. So it's all about, in the end, well, what sort of information do I need for that? Okay? What's the ideal war room? You know, that's the dream of every manager, every CEO. I've got access to, I love to have access to lots of data and then better understand somehow my business. So the first challenge to make the dream come true is really about connecting the available data, obviously. Because there are lots of data in our companies, okay? Everything is in theory available. In practice, it's a bit different, okay? Because there are different systems, different departments, barriers, walls, and so on. So you need to interconnect them as well. You need to extrapolate the information and then do the analysis, okay? Which is what I heard this morning. A number of you are obviously in this business of making sense for the data. And then somehow to deliver the information, to deliver the insights behind. So something, and that's my first storytelling, if you wish. We call it the control tower. Okay, we went to see a number of few CEOs, and we told them what would be the KPIs in your dreams that you'd like to have available that would help you monitor your business. Okay? And they came up with a number of things. They said, well, I'd like to understand in details my revenues, my daily revenues, for instance. Okay? I'd like to understand as well the investment, the return on investments, the market trends, the commercial policy, and so on. Okay? We've implemented that with this big American pharmaceutical company in Europe, and they had questions, for instance, about sorry, it's a bit small, but this is supposed to be Italy. So their Italian business. The Italian business unit was not doing that well. And then as a CEO, as the head managing director for Italy, you are like, well, what should I do? Okay, what's the information I need? So then you can deep dive and bring him, you know, the business performance in terms of sales, profits, and so on at the regional level. Fine. So you look at the regions, and you discover that some regions do perform better than others. Then you can look as well at the regional level, hospitals. It's a pharmaceutical company, so they're selling their drugs to hospitals. Okay? So the hospitals within a region, the least performing ones, the ones which are not really buying, and then why they're not buying. Okay? And you can do that for the worst performers, but as well for the good performers. So again, here, nothing fancy. I don't know if we should call it big data or not, but it's really data at a very granular level where they've got access to basically not the behavior yet, but number of pieces of information on their individual clients, which in this case are hospitals. And from that, you can build on lots of profiling and stories and so on. Okay? Trying to understand why they're not buying, and those who are buying a lot, what's happening. And then you discover that they cross-buy, or you can do cross-selling. Okay? Or you discover that some hospitals, for some reason, are a very, very strong performer on some specific drugs and not so good on other drugs. And then you think, well, maybe I can do more cross-selling. Maybe I understand why and so on. But the point is having access in time to this specific information gives you a lot of power, as we could see in the previous presentations. But here, in a very modest way, we are not talking even about profiling yet. This is terrible. I mean, that's another story. Still in the pharmaceutical company, a client who asked us, well, I'd like to understand for each of my accounts, okay, what's the contribution. Okay? So this is something that says sales per customer. Okay? Each point is actually one customer. That's this one in the UK. And each point is the net contribution. Okay? So that's the starting point. Okay? And you're like, well, what do I do with that? Okay? And this is where somehow creativity comes into play. Okay? And you start thinking, well, the guys on the top here, I like them a lot because the contribution is higher, obviously. Okay? And also, especially these guys, they buy lots and they have a good contribution. Okay? So who are they? And then in that case, we're talking about drugs that's sold to vets. Okay? So in the vaccines, anti-flea parasiticide and so on for the dogs and the cats and so on. Okay? So the company here is now going to speak or to understand the behaviors of these vets, for instance. Okay? Those who are good performers, and profiling them and trying to understand who they are and so on, they understood that some vets, actually some of their top clients, are more business-oriented than technical vets. Okay? Others are just technical vets, which means they just love their job and they just want to cure dogs and so on. Other vets, other profiles are, well, I like to do business. I'm a good vet as well, but I want to grow my business. So all of a sudden, this company here is thinking, maybe instead of selling drugs to the vets, okay, like everybody does, okay, if I understand them better, I could target, for instance, those vets which are business-minded and go and speak to them and tell them, I'm going to help you to grow your business. I'm going to be a business partner to you. Okay? So now I'm not selling you just drugs like vaccines, but I want to help you to become the best vet or the vet which is locally the best known for vaccines. Okay? So I'm going to help you as well attract customers. I'm going to help you speak about vaccines. I'm going to help you actually speak about prevention for dogs and so on. And you help them grow the business. Okay? So again, a modest example, but you start from a question, which is a question of a CEO, which is, well, I like to understand better my clients. Okay? You come up with these sorts of data, and then you try to be a bit creative. Okay? Not to say that it's very complex. Yeah, sorry.
The point is what here?
Sorry, a point is one customer.
Yeah.
Okay? It's one customer, which in that case is a veterinarian practice in the UK. Okay? We've got much more behind. Huh? This is just to illustrate, which are the ones which are the most well-performing. Or, as you said, it's important as well to look at the ones, where you lose business, by the way. Those ones here, you lose business with them. So every time you sell them something, you've got negative margins. Okay? So having access to this information is obviously quite important for the head of UK of this pharmaceutical company. The last example I wanted to give here, and the students here are going to love, is about Babolat. So Babolat is a tennis company. So they are becoming the leader in tennis rackets. Okay? So like they provide the support Nadal and so on. And it's a company that went into this business successfully like 15 years ago. The CEO, Mr. Babolat, was actually here last week. And he spoke about innovation. And he said, well, the future of tennis is what we're launching next year, which is called the electronic racket. I say, what's that? Electronic racket? So, well, actually, it's a tennis racket with motion sensors in the shaft. Okay? So, which means that every time you hit the ball, okay, the racket actually records how you hit the ball, where the ball hit the racket, and so on and so on. The result is data. So these are the ones of Nadal. Okay? So it tells you, basically your tennis profiling, okay, or profile. Okay? So now we can be creative. The question is, what do you do with that? Is it just technology? Is it just big data? Or can you expand your business? And obviously these guys, Babolat, are quite smart. Okay? By the way, they are in a declining business. Tennis is declining, so they're telling us, in a declining business, you can grow a lot if you're a bit innovative. So for instance, talking to Mr. Babolat, he said, you know what, with that, we're going to launch an app, an application. Okay? And we've got thousands of customers, okay? Each of them will register, okay? And then we can get in touch with them. And then all of a sudden, we can profile them. Then we can help them improve the way they play, and so on and so on. Maybe they don't care, some would care, but we will connect it to them. And if we understand better the way they play, maybe then we can propose them new rackets or new pieces of equipment and so on. So that's it, two simple, modest stories. Okay? I'm not sure that, I hope they are linked somehow to big data. But that's very modest examples which start from a business point of view and not really from the big data. Okay.
Thank you, Jerome. I think if you don't mind sitting and the other